It's about 9:30 my time on November Eve. That's right, October 31st, November Eve. So now I'm about to go back in the dark with Cassie here running by the bike. Just thought I'd check in and see how you're all doing. I keep thinking it's Friday just because I know that everybody's doing, or not everybody, but a lot of people are doing the whole Halloween and trick-or-treat thing. And I purposely waited until that was done so me and Cassie could roam freely through the neighborhood and not have to dodge people and cars. So looks like that pretty much finished up. And I was gonna night shift earlier, but totally crashed. I don't know where that came from, but I just slept for a good 2 hours, I guess, early evening. And which actually brings to mind the topic and mindset going into November, for me anyway. Maybe late, or maybe even utilize this concept in some way, which is basically it is time to downshift and just ride out these last couple months. Really. I've been so looking forward to you know what in 5 days, but at the same time, as much as I've talked about preparing for the months ahead and all that stuff, I feel like as these days arrive, it's like a marathon and you have to do whatever you can to just keep going. And so I don't want to overthink this too much or even really let myself have a particular expectation of any kind, really. And that's kind of hard to do after the last 4 years. It really is. Just because if you assume it's going to go great, well, I'm not thinking it's going to be that simple. And then if you're thinking it's going to be horrible, well, you don't really know which horrible it's going to be either. So I do think that, like I've been saying, we have at least a few more months to wait out everything going on in the world. And really, on a night like this, where my thinking is for that, it just reinforces what I've also talked about many times, which is more personal and sort of not just self-development, but like taking care of yourself. And when it's at night, when you're not around people or you got time to relax or work on something, like only you can do that for yourself and have an outlet, have something that takes you away from the current challenges and current worries and all that kind of stuff. Hi, Irma. Well, I'm just talking about how everything we're going through is a real mindset challenge for all of us. And I've really, even though I've kept up with news and digging into topics, that's not what I really want to be doing in life. I mean, let's be kind of honest about it. We've done that kind of stuff because we felt like we had to. And it's because things weren't the way they should be. So it's been more out of necessity. But what I really want to do is just focus on my passions. And there's Cassie. See those ears poking up? It is dark, so I'm trying to give you more Cassie action. It's difficult because she's always off on the side too. But one of my biggest challenges the last 4 years has been to stay focused on my passions, and which is really usually music related, but not only music, and sort of balance all the crazy stuff in the world and what God has called me to do, just like whatever He's called you to do is very unique and personal. And so it's been quite the sorry, I keep remembering how this camera, it looks like I'm swerving all over the place. I'm really not that bad, but that's how it looks. It's actually a little bit cold out here in Southern California. Well, cold for us when it's anything like low 60s, I guess. And it's definitely going in the 50s at night. I don't know how low, but not too bad compared to many states and places. But it's just the beginning of our cold season, you might call it. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about this is like a marathon that we're going through right now. And we just need to kind of detach our mindset a little bit for this thing coming up in 5 days, because if you get your expectation up in a certain way and then let down, it's just going to be one more stress. And so I think it's a good reminder for all of us to sort of just treat it like a marathon, expect that it's going to take longer, and then we probably really won't be too disappointed that way, no matter how it goes. And then, assuming it does take until January for things to kind of fizzle out or whatever you want to call that, then we'll be good. I like San Diego Oceanside. Perhaps I'll visit next time, Lord willing. Yes. Yes, California is really nice. It's just been totally made very, very expensive. But that is nothing against the land, right? We can't hate the land for that. It's not the land's fault or the sea's fault. So it's pretty awesome out here. And I've lived a lot of places while in the Marine Corps, moved around a lot. So I experienced several more climates than I would have otherwise. And I can absolutely say Southern California is one of the best. I mean, it is really the best out of all the places I lived. But the tropical climates are nice, and it's just always warm. But if you're on an island where you have a nice breeze all the time, such as Hawaii, you're not really complaining about the heat too much. It's just pretty much tropical paradise. My only problem with staying in a place like Hawaii or even Okinawa is just being so far away from family and well, friends too, but mostly family. And then if you had to go there on an emergency, you know, say I had to go back to Ohio or North Carolina or somewhere that far away, you better have a lot of money saved up, especially if you want to fly the family more than just yourself. So as much as I love Hawaii, although it has been kind of ruined the last 20 years, and I won't go into why, but it has to do with a certain party that's been running it. So even though that happened, the location in Hawaiian Islands is absolutely magical. And I would highly recommend anyone who had an opportunity to go to, especially Kauai or Maui or the Big Island, where they haven't been, like, in some ways taken over by population and problems. So the less populated islands, yes, you want to go there. Kind of feels like stepping back in time, and in a really good way. Like if I had to explain it, it'd probably feel like going back 20 or 30 years, just with that wind blowing, maybe a nice sandy white beach. Okay, so we are back to the homeland, even though you still can't see anything. And come here, Cassie. Come here. There. She came to say hello. Let's see. Irma, you said you love the ocean. Haven't seen it for 5 years. Lived in Tustin and Santa Ana. Oh, you've moved around some then. Also, have you been in Australia and New Zealand? Not New Zealand, but I did take a few trips to Australia also with the Marine Corps bands. I want to visit them in Hawaii, but it's expensive, too far away. Yeah. It is expensive. I mean, Hawaii's not too bad, depending on where you're coming from in the U.S., the continental U.S., but it's not just the plane ticket, of course. You got to get your hotel and rental car or whatever, and so it adds up real fast for sure. But if you plan your own trip, that's way cheaper than paying to do the tourist stuff. So some people like that, but not me. I just want to be left alone, or even with whoever I'm with. I'd also want to be alone with them. So that's just not my style to do the tours. Although I do like to learn about new places, especially if I go there. I don't like to travel alone. Yeah, it's not the most fun thing to do, for sure. But if you have to travel with somebody who you don't really want to travel like or travel with, then traveling alone would be better in comparison. So, see, it's all about mindset. But I just want to do a quick live and say hello. This wasn't really the kind of video that I figured there was going to be a lot showing up. So nice to see you guys. Oh, who is that? Michelle? 8 here. Oh, -8 there. Brr. That is cold. Sorry, I'm just late getting to your comment. But yeah, I grew up in Ohio, so I do know what real cold weather is. we get so spoiled here in Southern California with, generally around, let's just say 70s and 80s. So when it actually drops down colder, it's like, whoa, what's happening? But I mean, I like it when it gets cold here, but a lot of people don't. But even though it's not a big deal for me and I like it, it still catches me off guard. Like, oh, I have to actually wear more clothes now. Okay. This is going to take a few days to get used to. Feb had minus 47. Wow. Can you tell me what state or country you're at? I didn't realize. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if up north it was getting that cold, but I thought it was usually later in the year. I've never felt that cold. I'm not sure if I've felt colder than like negative 10 or 20. Oh, Alberta. Okay. I've never been to Canada, but I would love to see some of Canada. I just don't know when I'll have a reason to go. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the cold. That is crazy cold. I mean, you really got to be prepared with the gear and the routine and safeguards in place to not run into trouble at those temperatures. That is cold. Do you have P.O. box yet? Oh, no, not yet, Irma. Sorry, and thanks for waiting. That probably is something I need to do. I'm just trying to think if there's any other option I want to utilize as far as an address. But I do appreciate you wanting to support and understand wanting to do it however you want to do it. So this year has been a lot of new additions for me and changes as far as what I've been doing online, I suppose. But yeah, I really love doing the project for the homeless kids in the Philippines, and even one single little girl that needed it and her family needed help. So it's been kind of a life goal to be able to bless more people. And it's just a truth that money does help things in a lot of situations. And I wish it was easier because you have to have extra money to be able to do the things you want to do like that. But that was one of the reasons that getting better at my finances and how I even make money became also a top priority for me the last, I don't know, 6 years, because I wanted to be as prepared as I could in any situation. And it took me a long time to really figure out what my goals were going to be exactly. But yeah, I think of it as, I mean, I shouldn't think this way, but I think of it more of the ministry I want this channel to be, and my music and everything I'm doing. It's like being able to help others by give them money or buy them food, things that they really need more than us. For me, that feels like it completes the mission of what I want to do in life. So if it means that I can make uh, money with my music or with the channel or something, or selling some Medex's products, which I totally love a lot. If that's what I got to do, then that's what I'm going to do. And it's been working. It takes a lot of time to build a business, but there's different ways of doing it. Some people knit blankets or jar pickles, which I also love a lot. And I mean, whoever you are, if that was a route you wanted to go, you can find a way to make money nowadays just by doing something you love. But it just takes time to get there. And I do try to encourage people to do entrepreneur type things. Just because of that, you get to be your own boss. Think of it like a club or a project, but if you can dive into something like that, I mean, it can like literally be life changing, because you're really letting God work through you in a way that has nothing to do with the world, and that's really cool. So I think there's like lessons learned that you can only get from doing something like that. I mean, I guess it could be like sports, or I don't know, some people do yoga or Pilates, things like that. But whatever it is, I guess really it's just like a project, something new that you can dive into. That's what's special, and a challenge and a learning process, and really all the funnest things of life, really, when you think about it. I don't think there's anything worse than just going day to day, doing the same old thing, and not really having any dream left. I think you should always dream of what you can do in the future or be a part of. That's what keeps you going. You and your ministry has been a great blessing to me. Thanks so much, and God bless. Thank you, Irma. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, the making the songs is one of the best things that I would be doing on a lot of days. Because for me, that is the ultimate way to sort of unplug and just plug into whatever I guess God has given me to play or sing at that time. And it's perfect. Just like there's also a very unique and special feeling when you know that you just helped somebody that could not help themselves. That's a good thing. Not in like a ego way either, but as in, thank you, God, for letting me be the person to do that could do that and did it. And it just makes you more thankful for what you have. If you have the right attitude and heart about it, that's how you'll feel. So yeah, you might say I got addicted to helping people. And yeah, it's easy to get addicted to it because it's so great. It's such a win-win. But that is the problem, is money, isn't it? So like I said, about 6 years ago, that's why I got so passionate about I need to find a way to make more money, to protect it, to actually have a plan and know what I'm doing. Because even if it's just a small, even if it's small, growing small, then at least there's progress, and you get better at things as you go. So I started out doing all kinds of what was first known as cryptocurrency, but I just call it digital assets. I think that's a better name. And spent a lot of time learning about that. That taught me a lot of things just about finances in general, not just digital money, but everything. Because you really have to understand kind of how the whole financial system world works to bother even getting in investing very far. So that was a great learning experience. And because of that, it also taught me just how to manage money in general, which I never really focused on in the past. So it's just like one little step at a time. And 5 years later, all of a sudden you're like, wow, I kind of know what I'm doing. Okay. Irma, you said you're welcome. I love the 2 piano instrumentals. Great to hear. Listen to your music 5-10 times a day. Congrats. You have more than 10,000 subscribers. Yeah, that one came up pretty quick. This year, the channel grew a lot. And I've just been really thankful to see the progress after so many years. I don't even remember what year it was. I kind of got more serious about the channel. I want to say probably 2017, 2018, 2019. You know, every year I kind of started doing more things in more ways, but it's been a few years, so it's been fun. And it took a long time to get the channels all geared up and with all the piano instrumentals, because I think on my piano instrumental playlist there's somewhere around 250 songs. I haven't even paid attention in a while, but once that library really got built up, then I was able to do the live stream 24/7 with a nice long list of songs. And yeah, then I had some new projects to try. So yeah, praise God. It has been many blessings and challenges, but many blessings. So I think I need to wrap this up. And yeah, I'm just kind of downshifting and going to roll in for these last couple months. So keep that mindset. And I'm sure next week there's going to be a lot to talk about. And we'll just go with the flow. So I will see you all again soon. Take care. God bless you all. And have a good night.